you all, members of the High Table, to our guests, Caroline Rickers from the International Paralympic Committee. I have also the Admin Secretary of the NPC Gambia, and Executive Member Lamin Dabo is the Treasurer of the Gambia National Paralympic Committee. Lamin Kuradabo. Okay, thank you, Lamin Kuradabo. And also Ramu Jain, she's also a member of the Gambia National Paralympic Committee Executive Board. Fatima Jawara is the Admin Secretary at our office at the Independent Stadium of the Gambia National Paralympic Committee. I am Haji Drame, the press attaché or the media officer of the Gambia National Paralympic Committee. We are gathered here today, to give a very important information to the Gambian public, particularly those involved in parasports development. Recently, we were here to present materials not long ago. So this is another development, a milestone development as far as parasports in this country is concerned. Well, the Gambia National Paralympic Committee, in partnership with the International Paralympic Committee, IPC, hold 4-day, if you want, three days training on the in-country supports program, which is directed still because it's mixed by the senior membership manager of the in-sports program. She's here with us, Caroline and Ricards. Thank you very much for coming. So I will not do much of the talking because the admin secretary is the coordinator of this program. She's going to give us a brief explanation about this program before we get to our guests. And also the media, you can also free to ask any questions relating to this press conference. So on that note, I just want to say, Mama Far is all yours now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Drame, and good afternoon to you all. Good afternoon, Madam. How are you? Hope you're doing okay. So I will also say good afternoon to the High Table, my bosses at the NPC Gambia. Today what we are here for is very important, as Haji already highlighted. We have a very important guest from the IPC, and she's here to do an assessment program or the in-country support program that the NPC Gambia is implementing. And her comment is in three folds or in three components. One is the evaluation, and then the two is the grant implementation, and then the three is the strategic plan. We have done a 3 working day intensive program for the in-country support. That's why she's here from IPC. Okay, in that note, the NPC is implementing a grant project on the NPP program. So Caroline is here to assess the programs of the NPC and the standards of the NPC, where we are now and where we project to be in future in 2 years to come. So on that note, I will allow her to give us an in-depth of what we have done so far in the past 3 days that she is here for the assessment. Caroline, you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, everyone, members of the governing board. Haji as the media officer. Thank you so much for organizing this press conference so that we share our work with the Society of the Gambia. So to provide a little bit of a background to the in-country support, it is organized by the IPC as a component of the National Paralympic Committee's development program that is financed by the worldwide Paralympic partner of the IPC, Toyota. The in-country support is an initiative to work directly together with the National Paralympic Committees around the world to understand their situation, their working context, to collect also data from the National Paralympic Committees in order to support them in developing an action plan to go up the ladder towards their next level. So the first day of the in-country support, we had interviews and many questions related to athlete development, organizational development, and marketing and communication. With the information gathered, we then sat together yesterday and developed an action plan for the National Paralympic Committee. Within the action plan, there are important things such as the Athlete Pathway program to ensure that talented persons with a disability are identified to practice parasports, to develop, and if they have the talent, to go up and on top to the Paralympic Games, to represent the Gambia in the Paralympic Games. This is one area of the action plan. Another area, as an example, is the marketing and fundraising plan for the organization. Of course, in order to develop the para-athletes, some funding needs to be there and some local support. As an example, access to training venues, coach education, just to name a few. So it's the whole of the Gambia that is in this journey of developing para-athletes at the grassroots level and also at the high performance level internationally. And the particular thing that I am so passionate about, and I can see this passion here in this room also, is what it means for a person with a disability to have access to parasport. It can really change their lives. It can make such a difference for the person, for the family members, for the entire society. By practicing parasport, you discover all the things that you were able to do. You gain confidence, you gain independence, and that has an incredible transfer to other areas of life. So it's fantastic what changes parasport can make in society. And we really hope that with this message, the whole of Gambia supports the National Paralympic Committee to develop para-athletes, that the government is there to support the local communities, everyone, the parents, in order to really use parasport for an inclusive Gambia. So that's the main message, really, of what we're doing and what the future will bring through parasport.
Thank you very much, Madam. I think she has put across the message.
And with the grant to implement activities, for instance, in the area of athlete development. Just to name a few of these activities are talent identification, it's national competitions in parasports, it's coach education, officials education, education of classifiers. So classifiers are those that understand the disabilities in order to group athletes with similar disabilities in order to have a fair competition based on their abilities. Another area is, of course, the systematic training programs, because it's not easy for the athletes to get to the training venues. It's not easy for the coaches to be volunteer coaches. And it's not easy to have the equipment necessary to conduct quality trainings. So those are just a few areas where NPCs can use the grant for.
Thank you. Any other question?
The other one I have is about your experience so far in the Gambia.
That I already have with the National Olympic Committee, and the evaluation on day one of the in-country support has really helped me to learn, to understand how things are organized in the Gambia in terms of parasports, and to use those findings to develop the action plan. And one key thing is, and that is what we're doing here, to get the message across to the Gambia, so that everyone in every corner knows about parasports and the importance for people with a disability. In terms of the NPC structures, in terms of planning processes, the NPC now has a solid action plan, and the IPC will continue to monitor this action plan, to support the NPC, so that all the action plans are also realized. And really my key thing that I see is, and I said it before, is a passion of people and the interest of being here as volunteers. And volunteering isn't an easy thing if you have many other things going on in your life. But this is the passion that people bring here to the Paralympic movement. And people with a disability, people without a disability, but this passion for parasports brings us together. And with this passion, combined with skills, with knowledge, can really bring the Paralympic movement here in the Gambia to the next level. Thank you.
Let me give you this final question. What is going to be your advice to the NPC Gambia? You've also seen some shortfalls that you believe can be improved on to reach to the international standard. So what will you advise NPC Gambia as a recommendation to us as young administrators?
That's such good questions. My main advice is to work in partnership, to communicate, to let their partners know what your plan is in order to receive support, which is not only financial support, but also in support in terms of value in kind, so access to training venues, support in terms of knowledge sharing, of opening doors. So it's to work in partnership with the sports sector, but also with the disability sector, with organizations working in the field of persons with a disability. And then, to add another as well, to make use of the Disability Act, to make use of the Sports Act, to really use what is already in place in order to receive the support that is needed to offer parasports to more people and to have the necessary support to also bring athletes to the international level. And one day, with the talent that is in this country, maybe one day to bring home a medal from the Paralympic Games, to even increase the impact of parasport in the country.
Any other? Haji.
Yes, now finally, before we wrap up, we have a senior member in our midst as well, who has been part of the founders of this organization. He's going to give us a brief about this NPC. Dabo.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody, the media personnel, members of the Gambia National Paralympic Committee, and all other personnel present. I am Alhaji Lamin Kuradabo, the treasurer of the NPC, it is the Gambia National Paralympic Committee. In short, if you hear para, probably to a layman, they will not understand. When you hear para, that means disabled sports. It's something to do with people with disability. That's why we have NPC, that is National Paralympic Committee. People with disability doing their sports and have their own organization. So the personnel that came from the IPC means International Paralympic Committee, taking care of the world disabled sports in general, including the Gambia. So generally, if you people here at the layman end, they will say para. Others may question, but in short, it's called people with disability. It could be physical disability, blind, or whatever. All these have their own sports. So but they are all engulfed under the Gambia National Paralympic Committee for people to understand. So that's what we are here. We have our own setup. We have the president. All the organization setup is there already. But before it was only physically. We started with only physically disabled, but it's now it engulfs all other types of disability. Now the Gambia National Paralympic Committee is in charge of all. Yeah, that's the thing. So for people to understand, at Gambian context, when you hear para, that means these people with disability, any form of disability that can do sports. it covers all. I think for short, this is what I can explain.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, gentlemen,
And ladies.
ladies, no, I'm coming. The ladies are more on the men, so I cannot forget the men, gentlemen, and the
Yeah,
ladies.
you should have been ladies and
Ladies and gentlemen,
and
yes, yes, I apologize.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much, especially our partners from the media. We definitely need your support. You've been a great partner so far, working on our developments, our agendas, to inform Gambians and the world about activities related to the NPC Gambia. So we'll continue counting on your support. And on behalf of the Gambia National Paralympic Committee, the executive members here, staff here, and also on my behalf as the media personnel, I want to sincerely thank Caroline. Her coming here has impacted us a lot. Most of us have now gained some good, or gathered some good knowledge that can help us going forward. So we believe this will lead us to another opportunity coming in terms of education from the IPC level. She's a senior member with regards to education at the IPC level. These are the kind of experts every NPC will want to interact with, gain some knowledge, that try to get themselves prepared for future administrative responsibility. So thank you so very much for coming, and we hope, because this is not going to be the last event, we are proceeding to meet other stakeholders, which such as the government and also the GFD, that is the general body that is responsible for disability in this country. So we'll meet them as well, talk to them and see how we can move this country to another level. So thank you so very much once again. Thank you for coming, and that's on behalf of you today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.